Here at Intoxicated Reviews, we intellectually dissect the art of cinema, scene by scene. Here's some clips.
All he is, it's just a fucking big wooden doll full of cum, chasing kids around.
You look up guys who poop in a bag. Because I think that's where you'll find him. Because he is hurt.
It's probably just in your search history anyway, isn't it?
This movie fucking blows.
So don't forget to subscribe to Intoxicated Reviews on all places you find podcasts. Except Spotify. We're working on it.
Boys Club. Is it called Boys Club because my apartment looks like a boy lives in it?
I wouldn't say a boy lives in it. I would say a boy is kidnapped somewhere in here.
Boys Club.
We're everything. We're true crime. We're World Star Hip Hop.
World Star Hip Hop. We're Netflix reviews.
Stories of the day.
Boys Club.
Listen.
Yeah, do it. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. I think. No, we're not. And on Google Play. Nobody gives a shit.
Boys Club.
Boys Club Podcast. Now with 90% more sound clips of black people.
Boys Club.
Touch me and I'll sue.
Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
So we are rolling.
Shit.
Oh, shit.
This is it. We're live?
We are, well, not live, but recording live, but not live on the internet like a live stream, which is what you did come on one of my live streams once.
Right.
So you walked into that madness.
Crazy. What was it? 600 viewers?
Oh my God. I wish. If only. If only.
It was fun. It was just a bunch of people hanging out, chatting. And, met a couple cool people.
Yeah.
Brittany, I'm going to have Brittany on my podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love Brittany.
She's funny.
She's great.
She is.
You guys, I'm so honored and excited to be, and you're going to have to pronounce your last name because I can't.
Give it a shot.
It's Sid. Well, here, I have to actually see it.
Right, yeah. You just try your best.
I had a speech impediment as a kid, and it's done me wrong.
Damn, from speech impediment to podcast host.
Kosatsky?
Kosatsky. Yeah.
Sid Kosatsky.
Yeah, you know what? It's a hard
name. Sid! We're here with Sid.
Hey, guys.
We're on a first name basis, okay?
Yeah, that's right.
You'll be in the description as your full name, but audio-wise, you're Sid.
Yeah, it's okay. They don't have to remember it all at once. They'll get to know me.
It's a tough name to say. Yeah. What is it? Like what?
Polish.
Polish. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. Sometimes I tell people it's Russian. Whenever people guess, I'm usually like, yeah. How did you know? And I have never found any other Kazatskis in the world. Online anyway. They don't exist online yet.
Oh, wow.
Just my family of Kazatskis.
Do you have a big family? Full of...
No, it's just regular. It's a regular family.
Regular
Not
size.
here to talk about my family.
Oh, no. Yeah, we don't...
It's way too personal.
Family and work and politics, I think, are three subjects. Well, actually, family sometimes, because I do like to, depending on who it is, get into how they grew up and what that was like. Because I'm the youngest. Right. I don't, do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have one older sister.
One older. So two? It's just you two?
Just us two. Yeah,
interesting. So you're the baby.
Yeah, I'm the baby
too.
So yeah, it works out for the baby. You get away with a lot more.
That's what I've been told. But I also grew up pretty strict. So
as a boy, I think there's a thing. It's definitely sexist where I said my mom and she's just oh, he's a boy.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
We trust him.
Yeah.
He'll be okay.
Yeah.
That's great, but welcome to the podcast.
Thank
finally.
You said you don't talk about work, but you have a lot of comedians on, and you guys are definitely talking about work.
I guess we talk about their work, not my work, though.
Right.
I leave my work off, but we do talk about their work.
We were talking about your work before we started recording.
We were.
We got that out of the way. Small talk is done.
Well, I mean, it's not really a secret. I'm on the job hunt. My contract's ending. No, there's no hard feelings or anything. There's nothing against me. It's just the situation. So that's fun.
Yeah, everybody listening, you love Sarah. You're
Hire
listening
me.
every week. You know what she's good at. You have leads. Send them.
Send them my way.
Yeah, just email.
And that's the interesting part about podcasting and kind of this podcast, because job hunting is awkward because I'm like, do I talk about the podcast or do I not talk about the podcast? Because it's given me so many skills that I could easily like talk a lot about. But I guess it's on a job to job basis that I decide whether or not to talk about it. Because obviously they're going to look it up if I say that I've...
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those weird things.
What happens when you Google your name, though? What are they going to see? Are they going to find the podcast pretty much first page of Google searches?
Probably not if they Googled my full name. But if they knew the name of the podcast, we're going to test it. We're going to test it.
Yeah. Well, they're going to know your full name. They're going to Google you.
Right.
But they're also going to find you on social media. And your social media is all Intoxicated Podcast.
That's true.
So it doesn't pop up in the first few searches, not on the first page. But yeah, then you click your Facebook, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that's public about Intoxicated.
My Facebook is highly curated.
Okay.
Yeah, I have. Well, I'm just like giving away my secrets. Less than 10 minutes in, I'm like, here's how I operate. But no, I have most of my stuff isn't public.
Right.
Most times you have to be my friend to see it. But that said, Instagram is public.
Yeah.
I've dabbled back and forth with making that private or public. I go back, like sometimes I go back and forth. If I get a message from a creep, I'll make it private for a bit.
It's hard though. You're a public figure, Intoxicated Podcast. So you either have to have almost like your public Instagram and then your private one just for friends where you talk about real weird stuff.
I do know a lot of people who have different Instagrams for different aspects of their life. And I'm like, that's interesting, but that also seems very stressful to me.
It's a lot
to curate all that. I'd rather, like, with me, it's kind of like I'm just a mixed soup of all of this. So what you see is what you get.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I'm sure that anyone who's doing their due diligence is going to figure out you got the podcast going anyway. So I think it's a good thing in interviews you talk about this different skills you have from the podcast.
Transferable skills,
Yeah. And that you do some sober episodes too. They might want to know.
We sure do sober episodes. You lead us into my next question, which is that we are drinking this evening. You are drinking a Propeller
Stone Fruit. It's my warm-up beer. It's mostly fruit.
It's your warm-up beer.
This is a hot summer day. I just want something fruity.
Ooh, getting fruity, unintoxicated. I'm drinking my standard. It's very boring. I drink it almost in every episode. It's some Blue Lobster vodka and soda.
Can I give it a try?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have germs.
I made it kind of a little bit strong.
I was going to say a little bit weak.
Really?
I figured.
I am actually coming down from the Pride plague. I got sick a couple days ago.
What the heck? I just tried your drink.
I got a straw.
Right.
You good. But it's a weird sickness because it's just a cough and it's nothing else.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel feverish. I don't feel like I feel fine otherwise, but I have this weird cough. So I might hack up a lung at some point. I do apologize. I will.
Me too.
I will.
I just had like a little gurgly cough on the way over here.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
I've had it for like a month. I don't know why. I'm healthy. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
They just like have this little cough that came up.
It's very weird. Sometimes they'll sneak those in.
It's all the secondhand smoke. All those smokers out there maybe are giving me a smoker's cough.
That could be it.
I don't know. Not really. You're not allowed to smoke anywhere anymore, so probably not.
It does suck getting sick in the summer, though.
Yeah.
It's the worst. But you and we met actually kind of through Instagram is how we connected, right?
Yeah, we met because I creeped you. I was just like looking up fun local podcasts. And I just found yours and listened and met actually a couple people through that. But awesome. I just reached out. I was like, hey, you have a lot of comedians on the show. I have had a lot of struggles in childhood issues. So like I'm pretty similar to most of your guests probably.
We're all damaged.
Yeah.
Ding ding for being damaged.
The thing is I don't get paid to talk about them publicly.
Not yet.
Right.
But maybe soon.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. I mean, like, I think we're brand new. And also, the new co-host of Brand New View.
Brand New View podcast,
which I love. And you guys are just killing it.
Cool.
You're truly killing it. And it's so fucking awesome what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very, like, I don't know. Like, I talked about this on Mark's episode as well, which is the idea of like when I look back at how I launched Intoxicated, I'm like, what a fucking shit show. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't have anything planned out. I was just like, go, spit it out into the world. And I feel like the launch of a pod is so important. And like Brand New View did it so coolly. Like the branding's on point. You stick with the branding. It's very consistent. And some things have changed because they do with a podcast. They do. Yeah. You're gonna reach a point where some things might evolve. But how are you liking being a co-host?
It's great. I mean, not as good as being a host.
Oh, you looking to kill Mark and take over entirely?
I like jumped in and I took over Ben's spot. It was like a good transition because they both had the exact same voice and it just didn't make sense. And
they truly,
it's so bizarre.
Truly do. That is, you make such a good point because I remember when I hadn't met them in person. And then they were going to come on. I was like, fuck, who's who? Who's who? Like, I can't figure it out.
Yeah. When I was just first listening to the podcast, I assumed it was one person. And then there's like a picture of two people. Like, what is going on here? Is one of them the producer? It's two people. But anyway, I jumped in. Stage 2, kick Mark out, solo host, take over the show.
This is all a process, really, for you to take over Brand New View. And then the world.
And I want to do it ethically where people think it's their idea.
I like, oh my gosh. You're giving away all your secrets.
I think you and I talked about you could potentially use a co-host. If you need a co-host, I would never take your show over, I promise. I love you to co-host.
You're going to be like just the co-host of all the podcasts. Just hop around each pod. Like,
why not?
There is an aspect to it that's interesting. I like the idea of having guest co-hosts, and I am going to be doing that more going forward. So if there's somebody that I think this could be an interesting convo, if I get this person on as well, like a past guest, I would invite back and say, do you want to be a guest co-host? Kind of like Kelly Ripa, because I truly just want to be Kelly Ripa.
Oh, okay.
Except drunk and at nighttime.
I want to be Regis Philbin.
Do you really?
Yeah, regular and at nighttime.
Yeah, I just love talk show hosts. Yeah. Like I even as a kid, I was like, I want to have my own show. So I kind of have that now. So that's pretty cool.
Get it. And look at the freaking crowd. We're in space right now.
We're in space. So like you chose space. Is there a reason that you chose space? I told you could go anywhere.
You said anywhere. It was like anywhere on the peninsula or like anywhere HRM, and then I thought maybe you'd say anywhere in the world, and you said universe. I was like, oh shit, that just makes it easy. I was like, what are we gonna be like in a blueberry field, like in a poppy field? And he said universe. I'm like, oh yeah, just space in general.
Space works. I don't think we've been to space yet on this show.
Whoa,
so you're and actually it looks like we're kind of in a planet in space. Yeah. More so than just floating around in space.
We are, but we're at the top of a mountain, or we're pretty high up. We're pretty high up on this planet.
We're pretty high. Would you ever go to space?
Yeah, of course.
If given the chance.
Sure.
Yeah, but like, what if? But you'd be risking like everything. You might not come back.
I wouldn't, just because it's like such a commitment. I'm like, yeah, let's go to space for the day. I'll give you like a month. We'll get up there. We'll have some cool time. Come down. But there's a commitment of like all the work up and like getting it. Even if it's just like as a tourist, I feel like there's just so much work to it.
Yeah.
Like, I just like to do get in space, be on the spaceship. But I like change happening a lot. So I feel like it would I'm saying space might get a little monotonous.
It might get a little boring.
Yeah.
Up there.
Yeah, just having.
But then when something would happen, it would be badass.
Yeah.
Like a meteor flies by you, like that would be fucking crazy.
For sure. First encounter.
Some
aliens.
Yeah, speaking of aliens, people are looking to are they looking to like raid Area 51 or like storm it? They're storming it. Area 51 in September. Did you hear about this?
To free the alien?
Apparently.
Cool.
They're looking to like just storm it and like go through security and shit.
Damn, that sounds dangerous.
Yeah, and stupid. Very stupid.
I wonder if that'll happen.
But also, I'm like, I'm gonna watch this closely.
Sure. Sounds great.
Because I love the idea of aliens.
Yeah.
But anyways, I digress. Sid, where'd you grow up?
Winnipeg.
Yeah. Small town or like a bigger city?
Like right in the heart of the city.
Oh, nice.
In Winnipeg.
Very, very nice.
Inner city kid. It's good. Yeah, I was there till I was 20. Moved around a bunch. Now I'm in Halifax.
What brought you here?
That's pretty much my
of all
story.
places.
I was in the military for 10 years. As a firefighter.
Oh, right.
And so I was in Alberta for a bit, and then I got posted to here. Yeah, and that was like 3 years ago. I was in Dartmouth and Truro, then I've been in Halifax almost 2 years, and it's been really good. It's a good city. It's just right.
It's just right. It's hard for me to think about leaving the city. Like I understand why people leave, but and there's so many things I hate about Halifax. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's hard for me to think about leaving.
Yeah.
And letting go of it, because it is kind of a small town city.
It really is.
Yeah.
There's like pros and cons to it. For me, mostly pros. I do like that whenever I'm out and about, I see people I know all the time.
I like that too.
So yeah, you probably have the experience of getting in the dating scene and being on the apps. You not only run out of people, but then you see the same people, and then they see you on dates, and so that can be like kind of sticky, but for the most part, it's pretty cool. It's like you can be out on a date and like someone comes by and they're like, "Hey," and it's like, "Yeah, I have a friend." See?
Yeah, exactly. I actually just had a Tinder match. Message me and say, "Do you go to this particular Sobeys all the time?" And I was just like, "That's kind of creepy." And yes, I do. I didn't say that yet, but I was just like, that's a little creepy. I don't know, but I also get it, because like if you recognize someone, I get it. But it is a small town, small city
for sure. I say way creepier things to people on Tinder.
Do you really?
Like, typically I can just plug their name into Facebook, and like first 10 that come up, they'll show up because they're in Halifax, and sometimes the first one that comes up, and we'll have like 20 mutual friends. I always find it weird when we don't, and then I creep them, and then I just say something creepy based on what I know about them.
Wow. See, I feel like girls creep, and then they just keep that information
right
inside because we're too scared to say it.
Right.
For fear of being called crazy.
Yeah.
Which is totally a thing with women. So
yeah. Do guys say that, or they just hint at it, or
no? Like it's just, I just think it's like a woman thing in general. Like we're kind of socialized to just be a little more like chill, like passive. Let him come to you. Like let him, like, do you know what I mean? So coming out the gate being like, I know your aunt and your mom, and I know you went to this town on this date, and it is weird, but I 100%.
I feel like everyone's like that, guys or girls, but I feel like guys will be like, like I wish girls would like start a conversation. I wish they'd say something, and then when they do, and they ask you a bunch of questions, you're like, oh, what's wrong with her? Why is she so needy?
Exactly. This is what
I don't say that. Basic psychology, you can't help your thoughts, but you had a good Facebook post I think today. I was talking about like all Tinder guys' profiles talk about being adventurous and liking outdoors and drinking beer. I was like, really, all of them? They're all like putting profiles? Because on my end, girls don't have profiles.
They don't write bios?
No, it's like 20%. I usually like swipe left on no profile. I'm like, you think this app is a joke? You're mocking it. Screw you.
I think those girls think that they're too attractive for a bio, which you gotta admit, those do exist. Mm-hmm. Those do exist. If you are very attractive and you have really good pictures, I think most people will swipe regardless of the lack of a bio.
Totally.
Because the world is shallow, and that's just a fact of life.
Yeah, well, you can't help it. But I think if you're not on there if you're just there for a booty call, then yes, put sexy pictures and that's it. But if you do potentially want more, if you do want a monogamous relationship, if you want to go on dates, I think it makes sense to put a bio. Otherwise, you're like, just go on a date with me based on my pictures. Excuse me. And
burping sounds are allowed because they involve drinking.
I wouldn't say anything. Yeah, the bio I think is important. Even just like a quote or 2 sentences.
Something, and truly what I meant by that status, because I think a lot of times people misunderstand what I mean when I make these kind of jokey statuses, but really what I meant was we all like those things, or most people like those things. Yeah. So what I meant by that was, it's okay if you want to put those things in, but put something else that's a little different that sticks out, because I could probably show you right now, like we could probably swipe on 10 guys and you'll see very similar things in the bios.
Could we?
We're looking for an adventure. Yeah. I want to have beers. I love craft beer. And then they'll list a lot of like adventure sports. I love hiking and snowboarding and skiing, and like, it's just everything is very like outdoorsy adventure, like rah, rah, rah. Yeah. And so even like, I guess it really depends on the pictures too. Like if they're very attractive, I'll still swipe, but I like to see a little something different.
Totally. I think a lot, it might just be this crazy coincidence that a lot of them don't know. Like, why would they know what other guys are saying? Because I don't think girls know what they're all doing.
Yeah.
What I see the same of is lot of profiles that say, I'm just looking for someone to be my dad's dog or my dog's dad.
Oh, that's weird.
It's like, I just wanted a father for my dogs. Or I'm just looking for someone to curl up on the couch and watch a good Netflix show with.
Netflix is another one. I'm like,
be my dog's dad.
Who doesn't watch Netflix? Like, that is the another one, I think, that I'm like, everyone likes Netflix. I don't think there's a human on this earth that has never watched it. Like, we get it. Netflix should just be a default thing. There's no need to put that in there. You know what I mean? Which is why I'm grateful I have this, because I do think it's different. I'm like, yeah, I fucking host and produce podcasts, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, that's different. Not every girl does that.
Totally.
So.
Be unique.
Be unique.
Something else people, for whatever reason, there's like a very common factor is they'll have those balloons that have like their number, like 32 is like the birthday.
the balloon numbers.
I swear it's like 1 in 10 have one of their pictures like celebrating the birthday with the balloon numbers. I'm like, I've never actually seen those in real life at anyone's birthday. I've never seen them on any of my friends' Facebook. Why does every girl on Tinder have the balloon numbers?
But there's so many pictures of them, and you're like the 5th guy friend to tell me that.
Okay.
So the balloon numbers are the female version of what I posted. That's a common thing that you see.
Right. Yeah. Balloon numbers, dog dad, curl up on the couch. Or no profile is like the most common.
No profile. Do you get a lot of like ones that are clearly fake profiles?
Not a bunch. I'd say like 1 in 50 is definitely for some kind of sex work.
Bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah. No, it's not that bad, I'd say.
So are you liking the Tinder? Are you enjoying the online dating?
I love it. I met my wife on Tinder.
Oh, can we get into this?
Yeah.
Okay, you met your wife on Tinder. Did you talk for a while before going on a date? Or
so I was in Cold Lake, Alberta, just northern Alberta. I was there with the military for 6 years. And for the first 5, I was very single. It's like oil and gas town, a lot of guys. So I was on Tinder.
As you are.
Actually, I'd come back from a trip and was with some friends from Toronto, and we're traveling, and I got back. I was like so lonely in Cold Lake. And one of my friends suggested Tinder. She's like, there's this like app. It's like super popular. Get on it. You'll meet so many people. It was like 6. So I downloaded Tinder. I swiped 7 people. And I was out of people for Cold Lake.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I was probably like, I was definitely an early adopter, obviously, for the area, but I was, probably an earlier adopter. It was probably like the first year of Tinder, maybe.
Shit.
And so then got back on it maybe the next year, and it was a bit better, but I'd get on it when I was like going through Calgary and Edmonton. Right. So not much happened in Cold Lake. I never really dated there so much, a couple here and there, but I would like try to go on dates when I was in Calgary, but that was just for like, I'd go for the weekend. So right. I didn't want to have some long distance relationship. So.
Yeah, that's no fun.
It eventually led to maybe 3 years into Tinder. I don't even know. This would have been like 5 years ago now, 2014. I got a match. It's a beautiful girl. I was like, oh, cool. It must have like been when I was driving through Calgary or something. And it was like Cold Lake. And immediately I was like, hi, hello, welcome to Tinder.
Let's talk, please. Please talk to me.
It was like not a great profile. It was her first ever. She like gone through a breakup. She was single for a month. Her friend convinced her to get on Tinder. She created it. It was just like probably with her Facebook profile pictures. It was like all group photos. Nothing too good. She did have a bio. It was just like, skiing, animals. Blah, blah. It was like whatever. It was like, I like to ski. Animals are cool. I'm a puppy.
Please date me, please.
Yeah, she's like, like we chatted for a bit. I was like, hey, reel her in. I was like, I should get your number in case Tinder collapses or something.
Great line.
Yeah.
Great. And I love that because I hate talking on Tinder for so long. Like, I think it's like 2 days max, and then you should move to another type of platform, because sometimes you miss those notifications, and that's not good.
Yeah.
You need to get those notifications.
Yeah.
So you chatted on there
pretty quickly, and then I was just like, I'd love to take you and show you my favorite place to get a beer in town. Ooh. She's like, cool. And so we did it. We like pretty quick, like made it to first date. Down the road, she told me, she's like so excited because she's like, whoa, there's a cool place in town to get beer. It was Original Joe's, which is this chain that was just Yeah, there's just not much. It's just like the sports bar in
Right.
in town. She's like, oh yeah, like the only place in town. Yeah, what did you think?
So many choices.
Yeah.
And what was the first date? Because I just recently went on a first date. And I found first dates are so bizarre. How was it? Like, so here's my main question is like, what's chemistry to you? Because for me, I can have a good conversation with anyone. And it's so hard for me to be like, is there chemistry? Is there not? I don't know. I can get along with anyone. And most times they friend zone me, so I don't fucking know. So
Yeah, you make friends easy. So do you... Yeah, what about a really shy person? Do you feel like if they just aren't...
if they're really shy, I probably wouldn't be attracted.
Are you
But
still
there's
able to have like this energy and conversation with a super awkwardly shy person?
I guess there's different types of shy. So so there's I think for me it's more, can you carry a convo? Can you talk? Are you passionate about things? Because if you aren't, that's going to be boring for me because I am. You know what I mean? So I think if you're someone who's like maybe an introvert that like isn't so much out there, but like as long as you can have a good conversation,
Absolutely.
I would be good.
Yeah.
But I'm an extrovert, so I'm usually drawn to extroverts or like performers, so comedians and musicians.
Okay. Yeah. Looks don't matter. You're talking about people being superficial. Doesn't matter what they look like. Doesn't matter what they smell like. Doesn't matter if they have money. As long as they can perform and carry a conversation.
Oh no, physicality totally matters. But attraction to me is a very bizarre personal thing. Because I was thinking about it today, and I was like, I think this is why I have issues with Tinder. Because I can look at a picture of someone, and say, yeah, you look good. But it's not until I like talk to someone or like get a sense of their vibe that I really know if I'm attracted or not.
Yeah.
Because I feel like so much of it for me is like vibe and personality.
Totally.
But looks do matter.
Looks do matter. And I
They
figure,
do.
people, so you're looking in the mirror all day. So you're seeing your face totally opposite. It's not a symmetrical face. So you don't even really know what you look like.
Yes, that's
so
true.
Whenever people post their favorite photo, I'm always like, that doesn't even look anything like you. You think that's what you look like when you look good? So like people have this distorted view of how they look. Just
Yes.
like you don't know what you sound like. You hear yourself on radio for the first time. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
So people have like weird pictures. So you don't really know exactly what they look like. Also, they're often 5 years old. And a lot changes in 5 years.
a lot can change.
Yeah, like I've creeped someone and then all of her Facebook photos are from 2014. I'm like, no, those are the photos she's using on Tinder. She could be anybody now.
Right?
She could be 3 feet taller,
I
3
know.
feet shorter.
That's why you gotta keep updating them pics.
But then also like texting and stuff, that's nothing. That's just like people take a while to respond. They're saying anything. It could be their friend. They could be catfishing you. It's just really not their personality at all. So often I just say, hey, let's grab a beer. Like that is my first line. We don't talk. And they're like, sure, I would love to have a beer. Where? Because then they don't know anything about me either. I have a decent profile. They've obviously swiped right because my pictures are good enough to swipe right.
Exactly.
They're like second guessing now. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they do. And then you meet them. And then comes figuring out the chemistry.
And that's where I find that it gets tricky for me. Because I have so many situations where I'm like, oh yeah, I killed that. And then it's just like nothing. And I'm like, I just don't get it. Like I feel like I truly think a guy needs to scream in my face, I like you! For me to like actually believe that he would like me.
So like the first date ends. It seems to have gone well. He's like, yeah, I'll text you for sure.
Yeah.
Or like what happens at the end that you feel like it's...
Normally it's like some kind of typical goodbye saying like...
Oh, I have food poisoning. I wish I could do this again. Oh, I gotta go, bye.
Normally I say, okay, well, here's my thing. I think that in this case of my most recent date, I was the one who asked him out and arranged the date.
Right. Keep
So
telling
in
the
my
story while I
mind,
grab a beer.
yes, absolutely. I'm gonna just wait for you to come back, so I'm not talking by myself. Oh, it's so hot in here. I have so much hair. Yeah. Oh man, sweaty neck and back. What was I was saying about? Oh yeah, it was the goodbye. What was the last thing I said? Goodbye message?
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I was the one who arranged the date or like made the move, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I think it's now in the guy's court to let me know if he wants to hang out again. Am I wrong in thinking that?
Yeah, totally wrong. That's so sexist. Don't put that on us.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
No, totally. Those are.
It's one of those things where like I'm down, but I don't know if I really want to like set myself up to get rejected. I think that's probably what it is.
For sure.
Whereas a first date, like as long as you're chatting, most people agree to a date. But second date, that's a little different. Because if they're really not into it, that's when you'll know. You'll fucking know if they're really not into it. And I take silence as a, you ain't into it.
Yeah, I think, no, it's fine to not want to have to suffer that rejection and wait for somebody. So, yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of cues probably to look for, but if you finish a first date and no one ever messages, I guess you can assume that neither party are interested, but that guy is going to assume that you're not interested.
That's true.
Either.
But there's interested, and then there's, if he asked, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, of course.
It's kind of like, it's not a no, but it's not a heck yes. So it's this awkward middle ground. But dating's weird. This is why I don't do it. It's very weird.
Yeah. Well, if you're putting yourself out there so much going on a date and it's like, yeah, I'd see this person again, then just put yourself out there a little more. And like getting that rejection after the first date probably sucks a lot more than getting rejection after like matching on Tinder. They're like, oh no, on second thought, I don't want to see you. Because like I match with a lot of people or some people that I'm like, oh, I swiped right on you, but I don't really want to meet you.
There's so many 3 a.m. swipes. Don't swipe at 3 a.m. It's not a good idea.
Yeah. Just go shopping on Amazon instead.
Yeah, do that. Your credit card will not be happy with that.
No. Yeah, I feel like you just have to be a study of people and psychology and step outside of yourself to really be able to analyze. Maybe like I think most people probably don't have the self-awareness to really know if they're making a fool of themselves or not.
Yeah, true enough. And we're all our worst critics too. Yeah. So I think we all walk away from things overanalyzing them a little too much, which is I'm certainly guilty of that. But back to your wife? I don't really know how to say it. Partner?
Yeah, Emma.
Emma. Back to Emma.
Yeah. She's she's my wife.
Current wife.
We are married and decided to change the dynamic from husband and wife to pals. And she's like, so how does divorce work? And I looked into it. I was like, it's easy enough, but like, let's just wait a year because, I mean, we got married. Let's just like, I still get to say my wife. I don't sleep with.
Right. That's so.
Which is normal. Most people say my wife, and it's implied that they don't sleep with them anyway. This is just like absolute. We know we're not going to sleep together.
Yeah. But you had the first date. It obviously went well.
Yeah, the first date went well. She told this story recently. So we had couple beers. We played Big Buck Hunter and had our first kiss playing Big Buck, which was good.
What
and
is
then
that?
It's just like this one where you shoot the deers.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And then she had to work in the morning, and I probably did too, but I was like, yeah, let's split a cab. We're kind of opposite ways, but this is a story she told that we cab back to her place. I was like, I'm gonna walk you to the door, and we got to the door. I think I'm kissing her goodbye. The cab drove off, and she's like, oh no, your cab. And then supposedly I was like, oh yeah, I told him he should go. That's what she said.
Smooth operator.
I feel like it's not that smooth. It's like, oh yeah, I told the cab to go, so I have to stay at your place now. It's pretty forceful, but that's what she remembers. And
wow,
she actually has a photographic memory, which is like, there's some pros and cons to that in a relationship, but I just have to trust her. Yeah, and so just like stayed over and cuddled.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I like to cuddle.
And then how long were you together before you got married?
Almost 4 years.
4 years. Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah. It was like, we saw each other every single day after that.
Right.
And I would stay at one
Oh,
of the
really?
house.
After the first date?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Every day?
We also like didn't have any. So I had like chosen not to really make a life in Cold Lake. I was like a firefighter. I'd work a second job waiting tables, third job bartending, fourth job bouncing. I would just like work, not go out, not have a life because I didn't have people there I ever clicked with that were I wanted to be friends with. So then I would just, because also as a firefighter, every other month I'd get 2 weeks off paid. So I was like, I can't even afford to leave Cold Lake. So all I would do in Cold Lake is work. And then I'd have amazing vacations like 5, 6, 7 times a year. So I never had a life there. And it was kind of like, it's kind of a bit of a downer, but then also now I'm like more well-traveled and adventurous, I think, than some people. Whereas if I lived in a city, I would just be in a ton of debt and have a big beer gut. So that was cool. But yeah, we didn't have like great friends there, people we loved. Like Cold Lake wasn't the place for either of us.
Right.
And so yeah, we hung out every day, moved in together after 5 months, got a place together.
That's insane. That's so fast.
Yeah. Like immediately, we never split costs for anything. It was ever like, oh, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. Oh, like how much did this cost? How much? It was just like, we were just like, it'll eventually even out. And honestly, after 5 years, she might owe me $50,000. I don't know, but I'm probably evened out. I probably evened out. So I think all of that was just like easy. We're very just chill, non-confrontational people. She'll never yell. So yeah, it was great. Worked out.
Did you fight as a couple?
Never. Not one time.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Bicker?
No. And with the right partner or the wrong partner, I would definitely, but she is someone that just doesn't get like that.
Really?
Which is great, which is perfect for me. And this is why I could always have her around and just in my space, because I just don't need that. It doesn't work for me. I don't want to come home and have someone ask me about my day and what did you do? How are you doing? And oh my gosh, you didn't take out the garbage. None of that. I just like somebody who's super chill and we'll have cool conversations when they come up and we'll go do fun things together.
Right.
And not shit on each other.
Interesting.
And not have small talk.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, small talk is.
And when you don't have small talk with a partner, like you can run out of things to talk about. I feel like people like have a lot of like general conversations and talk about their day, and I just never ever have cared to talk about my day or like tell a story more than once. So if I've told a story to a friend and then like later I'm like, yeah, remember this? So she's like, no, you never told me that story. I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to because I already did. Just like it kind of like bores me.
Never tell a story more than once. Interesting.
Yeah, and like. I mean, that's not a rule, but like when you're asking me about, where are you born and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I've been on a couple podcasts now. I've told my story.
Right.
Like, I think we're going to talk about whole new stuff.
100%.
Because otherwise I'm bored, even if people want to hear it.
No generic bullshit.
Yeah.
So you're not separated.
Yeah, technically we're separated.
I guess technically, yeah.
So we moved to Nova Scotia. We moved around a bit. She got a really cool job in Calgary, which is maybe going to be temporary. And I stayed in Halifax. I was still firefighting in the military, and I started a business here. So we're like, okay, we'll figure out being long distance. I'll leave the military. I'll eventually work it, so I'll be like more online with my business. I'll be there more. We'll figure out where we're living the next year. Right. Anyway, we'll figure it out. So she moved away a month before the wedding, which was last August. And so the whole first year of our marriage, definitely the whole first year of our marriage. We haven't reached the full first year yet, but our whole marriage would be long distance. So
that is, and what are you like in a long distance relationship? Do you do the sexting thing or the phone sex?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Really?
Nice jerk off.
Honesty.
I
was curious because that's really long distance. That's not like that's not like oh, we can take a weekend up. Like long distance. That's far away. So how the heck did you guys manage that?
Like when you have that new relationship energy with anyone, with a friend, with someone you like, whatever, there's just like so much you get from that. So early in our relationship, when I'd leave, it'd be like, oh my gosh, I miss you. Oh, let's talk on the phone, which we both hate talking on the phone. Like, but okay, we'll do it. And then like I would like send her videos and we'd like do stuff for each other to show we cared. But then eventually it's like, such a chore.
Right.
Oh, okay, I gotta call.
And if you don't like talking on the phone, you're fucked.
No,
I think you're fucked if you don't. I personally love talking on the phone. I think some of the more interesting conversations you can have, and the reason is I had a friend who said it recently on an episode actually, is like, we're here hanging out in my living room. So if things get stagnant in the conversation, we can look at stuff and point things out, and you know what I mean? Whereas when you're on the phone with someone, you don't really have that. So you kind of do have to like dive into like topics and like subjects. And it kind of forces you to have a more in-depth combo, which is interesting. But I know like not everyone's a phone person. I love it though. I fucking love. Let's bring back the phone combo. Do you not remember when you were kids and would you talk to your friends on the phone as kids?
Didn't like it. Wasn't my thing.
Really?
No phone.
So you were always just an in-person dude.
Yeah.
Let's get together. Let's hang out.
I need to see you. I need to smell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Totally.
isolate that clip.
Yeah, it was always like an awkward thing for me, the phone. And it was tough. Yeah, at the end of our relationship, we're just like talking about our day and shit, which is something like that we're never into doing. It's like, yeah, this is what I'm doing with my business. This is what I'm doing with my career. This is, well, it's like, okay, neither of us care. Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah,
or
I get
whatever.
that. It's kind of like when you're in a group chat with friends and all they talk about is work or like their coworkers. Or it's just like, ugh.
I'm definitely not in those group chats, and I think you should get out of them because they're definitely not healthy.
I've muted most. I've muted most of them because of that reason.
Yeah.
The negativity in them.
Yeah.
And it's
need to
just
vent.
complaining about work.
But yeah, that's never something like we did too much either. I have definitely a lot of friends that it can get a little draining. I'm just used to, wanting to always look at the positive. Just makes it so much easier. I feel like, I just don't have that much to vent about. There's just like, maybe just from listening to so many people vent, I feel like everyone just has a much shittier life.
So you don't seem like you're at all negative. You are a grand optimist.
Yeah, my life is perfect. It's only getting better. So
It
really
can't be
nothing to
perfect.
complain about.
It can't be perfect.
No, if it was perfect, it would be terrible. So
If it was
it's
perfect,
better than
you-
perfect because it's not actually perfect.
If it was perfect, you wouldn't be on this podcast.
No, it needs to have some lows. Need to have like some lows to get to the highs for sure. Need to fail. Need to have some struggles. But that is
100%.
what makes it good.
That's what makes it good, and that's what makes me trust people. I don't think I can take advice from someone who hasn't had struggle. I don't trust them.
Yeah.
Like someone who's just been given everything or has like quote unquote lucked out for whatever reason in life. I'm just like, I don't know if I trust you.
Yeah. I know it's weird to think about, but like maybe those people have had similar struggles. It's just so relative because their life is being so fluffy and easy. Like the littlest things are such a big deal to them.
That's actually very true too.
And so if
And
you,
also,
like-
I might not know the struggles because maybe they're putting on a persona that isn't what I'm seeing at all.
People with easy lives definitely have huge struggles. I feel like no matter where, everyone has, I don't know, maybe equal relative struggles. Just yeah.
Well, that's something I've certainly learned during the show because if I ask someone to come on, and if I ask them to come on based on what I know them online, I'm like, let's dig deep into this. Like, what? How are you fucked up? Like, I like that. I think that that's so much more compelling.
Yeah.
Because social media is quite weird in that we are constantly comparing ourselves to influencers who have this very curated, pretty life, and it's hard. Like if you are someone who wants to be happy and you're seeing that and you think, how the fuck are these bitches on vacation every day?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How? If I was ever given that privilege, I would fucking document the journey to get to there. Do you know what I mean? And like how did I do it?
Yeah.
Well, how do you do it?
Honestly, people are often just showing highlights. Like when I was in Cold
Yes.
Lake, I was talking about how I really had nothing going on, but like I would just show my highlights. And I had people who were like in these big cities that had amazing lives and all these friends who were traveling to do cool stuff, but they just saw the highlights. They're like, man, you have the most amazing life. You seems like you have the funnest life. I'm just like sitting there all day watching Netflix, waiting for next month.
Right? Isn't that's so?
Yeah.
It's smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, totally.
It's totally smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
So don't take social media seriously, but also use it because I think it's good for some things.
Yeah.
I do think like it has its good sides for sure. Like connecting people, like you and I would not be here today if not for Instagram.
Totally.
So like
I wouldn't even
there's good-
exist.
You
Really?
Instagram goes down, Sid. Every time Instagram crashes, Sid
my
also
friends.
crashes. You just turn off. You're like,
Somebody look at me. Like me.
Have you always been big into like social media and that whole world, like content?
I was like way back. So like I moved to Cold Lake. So before that, I was like definitely on Facebook a lot. And then, it was just like a huge way to keep in touch and get closer with people who are far away and share my life.
Right.
So social media was really big for that for a long time. Eventually got to the point where I was just like, I had a lot of a life going on. Social media was becoming a little more toxic. It wasn't like what it used to be for me. And so, yeah, I just kind of like drifted off of it. And eventually was just not so much on social media. And people thought I wasn't doing cool stuff anymore. But it's because I was doing such cool stuff.
You were
I was
doing
too
the opposite.
busy for social media.
Yeah.
And then I had to get back into it for business. So now it did end up sucking me back in. And I'm happy to be back. Like, I spent a good year of like really focusing, just like doing business stuff on social media. And then it kind of like eventually sucked me in where I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
That's the tricky part, is when you do sort of have to do it for whatever you're doing, whether that be a business or a podcast or a side hustle or like any creative project. Like, you might want to take that social media break, but you really kind of can't if you want to maintain what you're doing and keep it growing. You can't really do that. Mind you, that's the glory of having a personal Instagram. Like, if I ever want to just deactivate my Instagram, I could.
Yeah.
And I would just post from Intoxicated. But social media breaks are needed sometimes, I think. Like, every now and then I'm like, I kind of want to deactivate it all.
Yeah.
Get rid of it, all of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. It feels good. It's like
Cleansing.
You just find other stuff to focus on. But yeah, it can be really distracting.
Big time. That's the right word for it. It's distracting.
Now I'm just like all over the place because it's like, yeah, okay, I need my distractions. Like, I'm looking like, great, I have Instagram, I have Facebook, I have Hinge and Tinder and Bumble, and like those are social medias too.
Yes, Hinge and Bumble. Yeah. What's your favorite dating app?
Tinder, always Tinder.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I love
That's the one. And have you had like the most like amount of matches and dates on there?
Well, I met my wife on Tinder, but yeah, there's just way more people on Tinder.
Yeah.
Like whenever I end up in a conversation on Bumble or Hinge or something, I'm like shocked that it's happening. But I did go on a Bumble date. Yeah, I just feel like there's fewer people, but there's just people of different interests on all three. Right. And there's also then people who just are on all three. Mm-hmm. But I just am looking to meet all kinds of different people.
All kinds. And you're just friends with your wife now.
Yeah.
But you're pals. You good?
Yeah.
Are you someone who's looking for a monogamous situation?
No.
No.
I'm not.
Okay.
I did that for the first time in my life. And man, I was good at it. I was a shitty husband, obviously. That didn't last, but I was a great monogamous partner. It ran its solid course of, almost 5 years. I'm like, it seems so surreal because I've never really had any serious relationship before. And I hear about all these people that keep having these 2-year relationships.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was it was pretty surreal for me to just like, that this is a thing that was happening when I got into this serious relationship for the first time in my life. And then, it was great when it was successful.
Right.
And not something I'm looking for again, but I also wasn't necessarily looking for that at the time. I always thought maybe I'd just be single. I have really amazing friends. I have beautiful relationships with a lot of female and male friends, but I feel like a good friendship can be romantic. There's so much more to it that you just classify as friendship. So I always got a lot of what I needed. I felt, but I guess what was missing, I never really had like too much amazing, meaningful sex. I didn't realize a lot later, like one night stands weren't that fun because I didn't like actually have a connection with the person. So I discovered that a little later.
That's why I hate them too.
Yeah.
I feel like one night stands, I mean, sometimes I think that there can be one-off situations where it really, like, you really click and it's actually good. Mm-hmm. But I like some build-up. Mm-hmm. I would actually much prefer to flirt the fuck out of someone for like 2 weeks and build up some tension there.
Totally.
Like, I think that is so, and I think that's also a little more mature. I think early 20s, like, you're just like, I just want to fuck. I just, like, come on, like, let's go.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm like, there's no fun in that. And I've been known, my friends make fun of me all the time. They're like, Sarah, you like sexual tension more than you like sex. And I'm like, you're fucking right. 100%.
Yeah.
I've had so many situations where it's very intense and erotic. And it's because we haven't banged. Mm-hmm. It's because there's always this like energy. Mm-hmm. And I fucking love it so much. And then sometimes the sex happens and you're like, okay, it's gone now. Mm-hmm. It's the mystery's gone and it's no fun anymore, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I do like a good build up. I'm like a 5th, 6th date guy. Why not?
That's good. That's
or
a good number.
A second date guy. Or a first date guy if it happens. But like, yeah, I've definitely good sex I've had is from having a connection, just feeling a passion for someone.
Yeah.
And then also, the build up is amazing. Just sucks if it's like a few weeks of build up and then it's bad sex. That does happen.
That can happen. And it's so weird because then other times you can have a one night stand. It can be great. It's so tricky. You just never know. But I think what's important is like talking openly about what you want. So if you know it's going in that direction, like let's fucking talk about what we want in bed. Because then you'll know what to do ahead of time. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, I know that that's not always like, okay, so BDSM, check. Like, you know, it's not like a checklist or anything.
Totally.
But I think a conversation happening beforehand makes it better.
Yeah, I was actually talking about that with someone recently. Like, it was our second date. We had a really great big beach day and ended up kissing on the beach.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
There was like a lot of build up, and I didn't know that how sexual of a person she really was. And there was like, it was on a rock and it was very uncomfortable. She was like, we just go back to my place. I was like, yeah, okay. And then like just hung out on the couch and just like chatted, and we're just like going deep into like sex and relationships. And also, this was a sober date, which is
nice,
pretty cool. I feel like that's kind of rare for a lot of people, or just like
it can be,
having a first and second date to be like totally sober and like have sex. And so that was exciting. But we were like talking about analyzing sex, and
love that.
It very rarely happens before the first time you ever do it. I kind of want to be like, is there anything that like I touch this or I do this and it's over for you?
Right. Are there any no's? What are your no's?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Because I have found, it's crazy how different people are, men and women, but from my big research and surveying I've done, it seems like women have more differences in terms of like erogenous zones and sensitivity, where it's so crazy. Like some girls, you can make them come just by like licking their nipples, and some girls don't even want you to touch their boob.
I know.
Like, I hate it.
There's so many nuances.
It's like so many different little things. Some people like you lick the ear and they're gonna puke. Some people like if you don't put your tongue in my ear, I can't come. So it's just like so different. And it's like so like with being with Emma for so long, I'm like, okay, I've perfected all of these things that she likes, and then I just start trying them now on people, and they're like
this ain't me.
As long as you can read body language, I feel like people aren't gonna people just don't say things the first few times unless they get to know you. But you can just like tell. You can just tell.
Unless you happen to meet someone who is like I had a situation where I slept with someone and we were both just very open people, and like it was talked about beforehand. But that's rare. It's rare for that to happen on you're right, like a first date or like the first time hanging out alone. It's fun though.
I was
so fun.
Trying to hook up with someone recently. It didn't really happen. And she was like grab my dick and squeeze. It was like holding and squeezing it so hard. Just like holding it, like squeeze it. She's like, and eventually she's like, yeah, is this too hard or harder? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm glad we're talking about this. None of that is good.
None of what you're doing right now is good.
Yeah. Just like spit on your hand.
Well, I mean,
rub it up and down.
I think everyone should be more communicative.
Yeah.
But it is hard when you might not be that comfortable with somebody. With a casual sex situation, it can be tough to be that like. But I think men and women, both should be way more communicative about like, I don't like what you're doing. Do this, and I might not always go to the I don't like what you're doing.
Right.
But I might go to the I really like if you do this instead.
And you know, some people like don't like to give oral, so I won't be like, yeah, suck my dick, because it's not necessarily that important as long as we're having like a good intimate moment.
It is for some people,
but I feel like something is important. So I feel like, but if someone is going down on you, it's okay to say like an inch to the right, like you're nowhere near. Like, move your tongue like this, or slower, or gentler, which is like more important for women.
Show them,
right? Totally.
Like maybe not necessarily say it, but do it.
Yeah.
Which I'm a big fan of because it feels less awkward. I don't know.
Or people like hint with their body language, like you're going down towards someone and they kind of like pull you up.
Right.
It's good enough. It's like, okay. I think some people have some, I don't know, stigma around their genitals because I've had a partner that doesn't like to go down on them. I think there's something like that doesn't taste good down there. I've heard that's a big thing.
Right.
And so they're like, ooh, I don't want someone down there. Or, yeah.
I think do you think that that's more with women than men?
Yeah, I've only really heard it with women.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I've ever had a guy be like, no, don't.
Yeah, like more so I'm like,
If you're a guy listening and you don't like blowjobs, please direct message me. I won't expose your identity. I'm just very curious because I've yet to encounter a guy who's like, I don't like blowjobs.
yeah, I like good blowjobs. I like, watching a good porn blowjob, but I feel like I don't really get good blowjobs.
See, I've heard this from so many guys.
Girls can like suck my dick for an hour, and like I often won't stop them. I'm like, if you really like sucking dick that much, who am I gonna to stop you?
Yeah.
But it's like if you can't make me come like that. It's just like there's just like the right pressure and motion from a good wet hand. Where I found most girls can't give that with a blowjob, and I've definitely given instructions, but it's just. Yeah, it's a lot. You don't want to make people feel bad, and then also it's like it's okay if you can't do it.
Right. Okay. So, one thing I want to touch on with the blowjob thing is I think that there's an expectation on women, and I think that this is something men do a lot, which is the deep throating and pushing deeper, and that's something that I think, it's not for every girl. Some girls. If you can do it, but like, I know that I've had trauma with that, like where it was done without my consent, and it's scary. You're literally choking sometimes. Whereas, you like men don't really have that. You're just licking something. There's not anything hitting your throat. Like, you know what I mean?
Not usually.
Not usually. Not usually. But I think that that's something that is interesting, how so many men just go to I'm just going to force her head deeper. And I think that's something you got to talk about beforehand.
100%.
Or ease into it.
Yeah, that's like a violent act. That's like slapping someone on the face or like spanking even. You start gentle. Like you just give it a good tap and your partner will let you know if they want it harder, daddy.
Yeah.
So
Oh, daddy! We got a daddy on this episode. Damn.
I actually prefer dad. But
Has a girl ever called you that during?
No.
Last week's episode we talked about this.
And I haven't like since I was like 19 used like babe and baby in relationships, which is great. Like we've never used those pet names once with Emma, and I don't really like now with like other people I'm dating. But yeah, with, like during sex, people often are like baby, baby. But never dad. They're never like, oh, dad.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh,
it's
daughter.
A bad way to announce a pregnancy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Surprise.
But yeah, there's a good way to do it. So
there is a good way to do it.
Yeah, if you want someone to go deeper, you're too shy to say it verbally. Yeah, you definitely don't grab. I'm too shy to say it, so I'm just going to attack you with my hand. But I feel like guys should learn that young. I feel like anyone who's having sex should know not to force someone's head that hasn't consented. But yeah, you can like put your hand on their face and their head and like, like squeeze the hair and show you're enjoying it. Yeah. And if every now and then a partner will like take your hand and like pull it. Like some girls do know that's what guys like, and they do have the capacity to do that or do enjoy doing that. And I have been with a girl before who I've like helped get to that point where she's like, I don't think I can, but like really wanted to, and then like eventually could and does it on her own, and then does like to have her head pushed in a bit because she knows it's like a sexual thing we're doing.
If you can ease into it, all the fucking
totally. But then you can also say like, can you go deep? It's probably typically not like if it's someone that you want to see consistently, it's probably not. It just depends on the person, but it's probably not like a first sex kind of thing. It's like, yeah, you're getting your first blowjob from this person.
You'd
see what happens.
You'd think.
But yeah.
You'd think it wouldn't be a first time sex thing. Yeah. In my experience, always.
Yeah.
A first time sex thing. But I get it. It feels good. I also understand the animalistic nature of sex, and that when we are in that moment, we are in an animalistic state. So we are focusing on pleasure and what feels good. And sometimes you can get carried away. Like it fucking happens.
Well, that's what porn is. So that's what we've been watching since we were babies.
Babies.
That's the only way the blowjobs are good is if they're sloppy and there's spit everywhere and the girl is puking. She should vomit on you. Yeah. And it should seem like you're raping her.
Yeah.
Like, that is what porn is. Ideally, she's related to you, not by blood, but like a second cousin, hopefully a stepsister. That is what good sex is.
According to porn.
And she's your property. Yeah, according to porn. But I guess I'm just like a stand-up guy. Like, yeah, I find that porn super sexy, but I'm like, yeah, it's only fantasy. I'm not gonna rape someone in real life.
Right. You
Yeah.
watch it to get away from the real life. do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why guys like that disturbing porn of stuff that they shouldn't be doing, where girls are like pretending like they don't enjoy it,
Right.
or doing it just like crazy into it. Like that kind of sex is good if that's like what you want to do. But I feel like it sucks because it's also conditioned guys to think that's what good sex is. And I honestly like to make love.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun sometimes, right? Yeah. Oh, ding ding.
There's no good make love porn that I ever watched.
Well, there's actually like a lot of porn out there that's kind of, and it sucks that it is this way, but it's more, you can find it like under like categories like porn for women, which I'm like, not only women like that porn, guys can like a romantic, slower porn too.
I cannot. There has to be puke and stepsisters. But in
Seriously,
real
though?
life, I don't need that.
Really?
Yeah, like my real life sex is good. There's definitely some like good clips that could be porn worthy, but a lot of it I really like to be like intimate and having like your bodies touching and like being close and kissing, which I don't. It's not something I'm jerking off to. I did when I was younger, like showcase Red Shoe Diaries, like the late night.
Red Shoe
shows.
Diaries, yes.
Yeah, that was like some sexy stuff. But yeah, like otherwise that.
Is there any weird things that okay, I phrased that incorrectly. Is there anything that's a little different that you're into sex wise?
Yeah, like not doing rape. I'm not doing rape stuff. Jeez. Let's loop back. It'll come to me.
Are you kind of more dominant, submissive, or both?
I am definitely dominant. I always say like, yeah, I love like to switch roles. I love to have a girl like take charge and get on top, but then often I'm like, yeah, I like to be dominant. And I've found that I think I've almost exclusively attracted women who prefer that role.
Yeah. More of a sub role.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is great. I used to be like really a lot bigger and more muscular when I was like working out a lot as a firefighter. So I think I attracted girls who really wanted that. What I've learned from like not working out for 5 years now and like going down to like more of a just like a natural looking person, like, man, the girls that I attracted with like that kind of physique were just not the types of girls I'd be into. Like the types of girls I'm into are like more attracted to someone who's just like not going to the gym.
Right. So
like,
what's okay, 2 questions, and they might be the same answer. Okay. But who do you attract? What types of girls do you attract, and what are you attracted to? And this can be looks, personality, a combo of everything.
I don't know what types of girls I attract. Honestly, I feel it is a mix. I do attract, like, I consider myself more risk. I have a high risk tolerance. I do a lot of stupid stuff. I get in trouble. I'm more street smart and adventurous, but I'll attract a lot of people who are more book smart. Like my partner Emma was like just an extremely book smart type of person, just like generalizing personalities in this way. But yeah, I attract like a lot of more tame people who want to be around that adventurous personality. But then also I do attract some crazy wild people. And I don't know which ones like I end up being more into. You know what? I like the diversity. I like to have a variety of people in my life. I think it made sense for me to have my rock be this very intelligent, calm personality who can just be in my space and not take up space and even me out. And like I learned a lot from her.
Yeah.
And we did that for 4 years where we taught each other so much, and she brought me to this maturity level that I'm now ready for the next thing. And so is she, and we both, near the end could picture somebody who's better for the other person.
Right.
Yeah. She needs a nerd now. She needs a scientist.
It's so cool to me that you guys like were together and you had this nice relationship and you mutually agreed to be friends for a bit.
Yeah.
And kind of naturally separate and live some life apart. And now you're supporting each other and still living your individual lives.
Totally.
That's very cool. And like, you're lucky for that because not all like separations go that smooth.
Yeah.
Where you're like buds with the person and still calling the person. And
I am lucky for it. You know what? I think it's my privileged lifestyle that has had no trauma ever, that I'm just this easygoing person that's attracted another easygoing person, and life is easy, and this is how we end relationships, non-confrontationally. Honestly, I think it is something that like we're just like I just have an extremely positive outlook. I don't want anything bad to happen for anyone. I just couldn't have been with a partner that could end in a toxic way. I just don't think it would have lasted more than a month, and it never has for me to actually have ended up being so close with a partner that could end negatively. And I never cheated on her.
Right.
We were never cruel. We were never unfaithful. We just grew so much together. We helped each other grow. And we moved apart, and then we grew separately. I love talking about it. It was really hard at first. It was tedious because I wanted to tell people directly this is what happened. I actually went around and I told Emma's family what happened because I wanted to show like, oh no, this is ending well. This is mutual. I want to be a part of you guys' lives. Like nothing too big is changing.
Right.
But I really wanted to control the narrative because people hear ex-wife and like, oh my gosh.
Right.
But I don't even say ex-wife. This is my wife or this is Emma.
Are you open about this on dates? Like, do you tell your dates?
It's on my Tinder profile.
Oh, it's in the Tinder profile.
Something
Can I see your Tinder profile? By the way?
Yeah, for sure. I think I just changed it. Oh, I might have just deleted that part. But
we love a Tinder takeover on this show.
Cool. What I like talking to people about is that, honestly, nobody gave us the advice. Like when things were not working out at the end, everyone just said, you need to work on it. It's hard work. It's not easy to be in a relationship. Like it takes tough work. This is like when you should be seeing a marriage counselor. It's a struggle. No one was like, you guys know that you don't have to stay together. Nobody said that.
Right.
And that was the advice. And so now I like talking to people about it. It's like, and people are still like, why did you get married? Like, you're supposed to have put work in. Like, no, like we did the right thing. We're honoring our vows of loving and supporting each other better than we could have if we stayed married.
True. True enough.
Yeah. I just want to see if it's still in.
I don't think it is.
Okay, I just changed it yesterday. And I always have Emma proofread my profiles. But it said something like, I met my ex-wife and current best friend on Tinder 5 years ago. Now I'm back. Not looking for wife number 2, but hey, who knows?
So do you think you're going to try the poly thing?
Yeah, you know what? I suppose I've always been a polyamorous person. Like I talked about, I have like deep loving connections with friends. I have a lot of love to give. More than one person can handle. I was smothered with love, but I always had these amazing, beautiful female friends before I met her that you trusted that I could always continue to be around in a very intimate way and share affection that I was always able to share my love elsewhere. And I also need a lot of love. Give me more love. So I've always been polyamorous. I've never really had serious relationships, so I can't really say I've been in open relationships. I just, it's just like, oh, you're dating casually, whatever. Right. Oh, we just haven't been exclusive yet. So that doesn't count. But I just feel like I've been polyamorous in the sense that I'm just open. I'm open to any kind of relationship. I like to have multiple people in my life always. Definitely can't just be the one person. I was even telling Emma, we were talking about like being stuck in a desert island together. This was like a couple years in the relationship or 3 years. I was like, oh God, no. We need other people. And she was like so hurt by it. I was like, you know that we couldn't just be the two of us on an island. Like I know a lot of people in love say that, but like we wouldn't like each other eventually. We'd run out of things to talk about. It'd be boring. There wouldn't be enough love to go around.
You would have fights.
Yeah, we'd probably
end up. That's a situation where you'd fight.
Maybe. And because we're just not getting what we need. And I need something different from her. So she is a very monogamous person. She does want to have that with one person. That's fine. As a polyamorous person, I can be in a monogamous relationship. I can date one person. But now that it's over, I'm actually really learning and really actually digging in, besides just from experience of what polyamory is, what people classify it as, and what it can be, and dating different types of people and making it clear to them, I am married. I'm not with my wife anymore.
Right.
But I'm out dating again. I'm not looking to get in a monogamous relationship. Anything's possible. I'm not looking to get married again. Anything's possible. But what I would like to do is to be able to date multiple people and date people who are dating multiple people and have proper partners and build relationships. And
this is why I think there needs to be an app where it's kind of like Tinder, but you are forced to have boxes that you check with who you're willing to match with. So if you are poly, you should make that known, and you should only match with people who are poly.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's what dating apps are missing, because like you don't say polyamorous in the bio. You'd probably say that on a first date or something, right?
Correct.
Or you'd say that in person. But there's a lot of girls that would be like, oh, well, fuck, why'd I go on this date? If I knew he was poly, I wouldn't have gone on the fucking date with him.
Yeah.
Not all girls will be like that, but some will.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a feature that is lacking in online dating, where it's like we're all fucking busy. Like, we're all wasting a lot of time on these apps. Maybe not wasting. Wrong word choice. That was a negative word choice. But we're spending a lot of times on these apps. And it would just be interesting to me to like be forced to say, what are you looking for? And you could check multiple boxes. So you don't have to pick one. Yeah. But you could check monogamous, poly. Like, but then you could only match with people who match you.
I like that. I think OkCupid has that. You can answer like 1,000 questions and have those kinds of matches.
Yes,
OkCupid is good.
It's been a while since I've been on that.
And Hinge has a lot of boxes, and Bumble, I think there's like heightened stuff, but they don't make it required. And you know what? I think it's because like Tinder is just like link to Facebook, instantly it's up, here we go. So it's just like low barrier to entry. Everyone's doing it. And I think Bumble and Hinge, where they want people to have more of that kind of stuff, they don't want to chase anyone away. So they're just like, let you choose. But yeah, and that's where OkCupid, you have to fill out a bunch of stuff. You have to answer a bunch of questions.
Right.
And then it is definitely a different type of people on there who are looking for something different. So for me, I really like that there are girls who say I'm ethically non-monogamous, or I have a partner, but we're non-monogamous.
Yes.
So girls say that. I don't, because like I said, I'm open to anything, and I can date a monogamous person. And if someone has this hard rule of I can't date someone polyamorous, and some people say their profile like dislikes polyamory,
right?
Because I think people see that as like, oh, this guy just likes to fuck.
That's what's the image that's attached to
totally.
polyamory.
Well, and like all these shows like Sister Wives and stuff are all about polygamy, and people like associate that, and that's just like that's not really what this is.
Right.
This is something that really works for a lot of people. And I think a lot of monogamous relationships struggle from the fact that there are these restrictions that everyone has crushes. Everyone wants to kiss someone else, is attracted to other people, but you're not supposed to look at somebody. You're not supposed to have these feelings. And so you have like these hard rules of how to behave, and like, which is so weird. One good thing is I never had rules with Emma. She's like, yeah, if you want to go fuck somebody else, but break up with me first.
Right.
Because that would break my heart.
Well, I think you raised a good
you
point.
can't stop someone from doing that. You can't stop someone from wanting to do it. So for me, it's like, of course people want to do these things. Everyone does at some point, but I can't because of the restrictions of the relationship. That's fine. This is what I want. But eventually it can get to a point where things are kind of still there. You have these restrictions of like trying to keep these feelings away.
And that's what leads to cheating.
What leads to cheating? Oh, yeah, which sucks. And then just like, then you're just hurting somebody.
You're hurting someone, potentially hurting two people.
Yeah.
Because if you cheat and then the person you're cheating on with likes you, then you're fucking it up with two people.
Yeah.
So if you were poly or ethically non-monogamous, which is something that I prefer, like I personally am more in the realm of, if I was not looking for a monogamous serious relationship, I would just call myself single. Mm-hmm. I'm single and fucking around, dating around. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say poly, because I don't think I can emotionally be involved with multiple people. Mm-hmm. That would be the only reason that I would say that.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's ethical non-monogamy, which is, I'm not going to be your girlfriend. I'm not going to be your boyfriend. I'm just dating around and sleeping around. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. But poly would be, like you said, having meaningful relationships with multiple people.
Yeah, there's so many like different meanings to both. They're kind of interchangeable, but someone could be married and ethically non-monogamous. They're just not monogamous with this spouse. But the ethical part is everybody who's involved, everyone who they're having relationships with is knowledgeable about what's happening and enthusiastic about the relationship.
Yes.
So it could just be a fuck buddy. It could be a friend that you sleep with. It could be something that you have a romantic relationship who you never have sex with. Right. It could be any different combination, and that's fine. So I feel like people always have these ideas of what this is. And I'm definitely exploring, and it for me, it's just the time, where I am as a person at that time, and the people that I have in my life and who they are at that time. Like it's just so fluid. It's going to change based on like who I'm meeting and where I'm at. So yeah, it's nice that some girls have that in their profile. I don't, because then it's like an immediate deterrent. And I've gone on, actually all of my dates have gone well enough. A couple that I'm not really interested in. I haven't gone on too many yet, but I've gone on dates with monogamous people. Like one that actually reminded me similarly of my first date with Emma, who was like, I was in a long-term relationship. I am a monogamous person. I picture this romance of having this one person and you build something with and you love them so much. How could you want to be with other people? That's what the idea they had. But I was as transparent with them as I am with you, and I explained everything.
And were they like, I'm out?
No.
Yeah.
We ended up we ended up kissing at the end of the date, and then went on a second date, and
because I think if
you
you like the person and you do feel like a true connection, you'd maybe be more open to, like, if I was a monogamous person and I met someone who I had a real connection with, I would be more open to pursuing, maybe I'll try this. But the jealousy factor, that's what I want to bring up, is have you had bad experiences with jealousy?
No, like I'm newish to this. I experience less jealousy than most people, but I'd say everyone experiences jealousy. People who are doing this kind of non-monogamy their whole life experience jealousy. It's normal to be jealous, to have FOMO, to worry about losing your partner, to want to be with them when they're with someone else, to want to be the one that they love the most when they love someone else more. That's all just very normal stuff. It's just when you let that dictate your actions and take control, that's when it's bad. When you start enforcing rules or saying, or acting crazy and just like doing things that are out of your normal personality type that you wouldn't normally be doing in the relationship, or trying to sabotage another side relationship or something, that's when the jealousy doesn't work. But yeah, I've definitely seen it. It's a real thing. But it's normal. It's healthy. You just have to like accept that it's a thing that's going to happen. Yeah. And not get I guess try not to get resentful, but it can happen and you can't always stop it. Unfortunately. Yeah, for me, it's like, okay, I like this girl a lot. She has this primary partner who she loves. That's her partner. She dates other people. That's great. I don't want to be that. I want to see her when I want to see her. Like, but now, okay, she's like unavailable for these days. She's with him, and I don't have anyone to see on this day. I don't have any friends free. I'm like alone. So then there's that jealousy there for sure, or FOMO or whatever it is. Like, yeah, I'd like to be doing that, but also, no, that's fine. They're happy now. I don't think this would be good if it worked out perfectly well, where it's like every single day that I needed somebody, I had the exact right person and it just kind of flowed through. That kind of like, oh, this is perfect. I think it would just like get boring and get sick of them all. Right. Like there has to be some kind of flow of me having my independence and not always getting what I want. Yeah. And because I do need a lot of different people. I also need to have times with friends. Yeah, you need to have things, and you have a lot of moving parts in your life because you multiple businesses and the podcast, and it's a lot to manage. You must have a full Google Calendar. Your Google Calendar must be intense. Today was like the biggest. I had like 10 things on today. There's just like there's a bunch of whatever stuff, but no, it's just like I'm trying to just go with the flow a lot and like see where everything goes, and I do need a lot of change, so it's like things keep changing. But so I found like if I wasn't going this route of doing this intentionally, the first person I want to date with, I could see myself getting infatuated with her. But then she was really busy. I was like, no, I'm trying to date multiple people. And then it just like immediately the day that I was supposed to see her and I didn't, I just ran into somebody. She was there and like built this connection with somebody that I had known from before when I was married. And okay. Yeah. And so then went on another date and went successfully. So now, like, I feel like you can get sick of people pretty quickly. I just lucked out with my wife. Right place, right time, right person, right time. But now it's like, yeah, I can kind of see somebody, see a friend, see somebody else, see somebody for 3 days, see somebody for a week, and then see somebody else and just like always have this transition of these totally different personality types and different people and not get sick of anyone. And we're really trying to be respectful of their feelings and, what is important is just got to be two-sided communication. So I'm going to be so
Yes.
transparent and open, which I always have been. I'm okay with being vulnerable, like as much as I am on this show.
Right.
You know, you'll be able to Google my name and find this episode, so anyone I'm dating can hear all of this stuff. But
It's true.
I like to be that transparent in person. But I feel like if it's not reciprocated, there's not too much I can do about that. I can try and like intuit when they're not being open, but if someone needs something more, if they need something sexual,
Right.
if they want me to be spending more time with them, if they don't like what I'm doing with other people, they need to express it so we can talk about that, see if there's something we can do to improve it, or if I can say, well, that's not something I can change, or yeah, I would like to make you feel better. You know,
Right.
don't
So
know
have
until someone tells
adult
you.
conversations about it.
Yeah.
Like I think for so long, people avoid talking about like the elephants in the room. And really, it's just a matter of being like, we're both adults here. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, just tell me what the heck. Like, this sucks, and I know we both hate doing this conversation. But like, what's going on your end?
Yeah.
Because something's up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a matter of having those conversations. That's probably how you could keep them
Totally.
so mature.
And it's fun to have, like we talked about that build up. So with
Yeah.
that, there's like that mystery of like not knowing something where it's like, okay, tonight you're going to come home with me. We're going to have sex for the first time. It's like, oh, okay. It's kind of better when you like don't know for sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, you should
there's
never say it.
Like, and it doesn't just apply to sex, but there's certain things where it's like, it is kind of nice to have a bit of that mystery. Like when
Yeah.
you're so comfortable with somebody that you know them so well, everything about them inside and out, and you're getting married, and okay, but now it's next. There's no mystery left.
Well, and you said it. People get sick of people.
Yeah.
And this is just unfortunately a fact of relationships and life. And I often think about it like when with my last boyfriend, which was 7 years ago, like he emotionally cheated on me with his now wife. But in order for me to get over that, I had to recognize it was fading out. It faded out, and it's not me personally,
Yeah.
but it's the dynamic. The dynamic got stale,
Mm-hmm.
and it died. And that's just what happened. And it can be hard for people to understand that sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, whenever I talk about cheating, it's touchy territory. But, like, I often am just like, you do kind of, as the person who got cheated on, need to realize that happy people don't cheat. If you were fully happy, you wouldn't cheat.
Yeah.
And that's tough, but it's fucking true.
Yeah, I think that's fair that yes, if you're totally in love and getting everything you need from this one
Everything.
partner,
You would not.
then you won't. That's true. But yeah, if you're not personally happy, or somebody I'm dating has cheated in every single relationship, and she's just this brilliant energy that just like gets joy and wonder from everywhere and loves people so much, and people fall in love with her right away. This great big energy. It's so great that kind of polyamory is more open now. It's like, yes, you should never, ever be in a monogamous relationship again.
Yeah.
Of course, you've cheated on everybody. You've had these horrible restrictions. You are a rebel. You have all this love, and
You're more
you know
mindful
you're
of
never
it.
going to be 100% happy all the time. So
Right.
it's just, yeah, that didn't work. And if you just were polyamorous and you know your partners were open to it, and you had this different type of relationship structure, it could have worked
Exactly.
differently. And with polyamory, you could potentially have someone in your life forever, which you can anyway. For anyone who's getting married now and is going to be together for 60 years, like, good for you. Usually people only did that because they were forced to, because of like Jesus and whatever.
Yes. Very true.
But some people are gonna do it and be happy forever and not
And
cheat.
that's
it's
some
a
people.
thing.
Some people
It's
are
just-
very some people are monogamous swans. What's that? There's a quote from a movie that's like, have you ever seen Up in the Air?
No,
Oh, you should watch Up in the Air.
I've seen Up.
Up in the Air with George Clooney. There's a quote, and I'm not gonna say it exactly, but it's like something like, some people are meant to be monogamous swans, and they're supposed to be one person, they're happy with one person, and they do the same things. But humans are more like sharks. And we move around.
Yeah.
And like, it's just like, and I really identify with that quote, even though I do think that I am a monogamous person.
Yeah.
Deep down, I think I am. But I do identify with that in a weird way.
Interesting. So you have both feelings. So
Kind of.
for me, I've been having this conversation lately that I'm wondering if I have just conditioned myself my whole life to have certain feelings. Like, I've recently, my whole life, just talked to so many people who are so obviously bisexual in some way. They're on some spectrum.
Yeah.
I think most people I've met are somewhere on the sex spectrum of
yes.
But I could never actually date my same sex. I've always pictured myself with whatever partner. And so for me, I'm like, just really have been analyzing that. Like, I've grown up my whole life, like jerking off to Christina Aguilera dirty video, like when I was a kid, and like always fantasizing about women because that's what was normal, and not being attracted to men. But like, what if like you really just, for someone who is bisexual, like you've conditioned yourself that, sure, I do find my same sex attracted, or I could fuck my same sex, but I could never imagine dating them because that's just it's like, not that I wouldn't, I just can't imagine, because you've like really built it up in your head that this is what's right. And that I think goes with monogamy as well. It's like you're going to have this type of relationship. And I've talked to people and they're like, well, how can you have multiple people? How can you commit to more than one person? How can you be dedicated and have full faith and love if you also love someone else? Like, what? How can you love your mom and love your dad? How can you have a best friend and have another best friend and another best friend and another best friend?
Or multiple crushes.
And multiple crushes.
Yeah, like,
it's easy. Everyone does.
If I could date all my crushes, I would.
Yeah, why not?
I don't think I have the time. But
Yeah,
I would.
and that's the thing. And people are also like, I couldn't keep up with it. How can you date multiple people? Or even someone I started dating was like, so like, how many people is like the right amount to date? I don't know. There really isn't an answer. It's just like whatever is working. Just like your friends coming out of your life.
Yeah.
This is a lot more work for sure, because there's more open communication. It's not just like, we're hooking up, we're seeing where it's going. Oh, we're going to, see each other a couple times a week for 3 years and slowly be in a relationship forever. And eventually we move in. It's like, no, this is very intentional. We have gone on a date. To tell someone after like a second date or whatever, we just started hanging out, we have a connection.
Yeah.
And that lets the other person be open. Do you feel this connection? Like, I feel like you can tell a new friend that you've met that you love them. Like, you can have love for someone right away. You're just not supposed to say it for a while, but like you can feel that love.
That's true.
And so to talk about that and what this is and what you enjoy from the other person, for me, like, I've always been open and transparent, but now I'm being so intentional about it. And holy shit, the people that I'm with, like, just, it's really worked. Like, you're just
drawing them
love
in.
it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You're so open about it, and you're so like.
But I've always connected, I think, really well from a young age and my whole life with women, because I can be open about my feelings and emotions. It wasn't until like later in adult life that I've had more guy friends, because I've found other guy friends who can be open with guys. It's hard for guys to be open with guys, but
that's 100% true.
So that's why I've always been,
that's why I probably have a lot of heart-to-hearts with your female friends.
Totally.
Which are, I honestly find sometimes having a heart-to-heart with a male friend more interesting and intense than with a girlfriend. I don't know. I think it's because I do think men and women do think differently.
Yeah.
I do feel that way. So I think it's interesting when I get perspectives on things.
Yeah.
And going back to what you said about like having multiple partners and stuff, I think it's weird that there's these two kind of archetypes. There's the, oh, what a great love story. They met when they were in junior high and they've been together ever since, and it gets reshared and it's very sweet. But like, I also think it's kind of fucking cool to have multiple lovers and multiple stories, like multiple love stories.
Totally.
Even though they might end, and hopefully they end good or not toxically.
Yeah, totally.
But like multiple stories, and I don't think I'm meant. Obviously, I'm 32 and haven't had that monogamous love story yet, but I think I'm meant to have multiple experiences.
Yeah.
I'm a jumper. Not so much a jumper. I'm just waiting. I'm open to it.
Yeah, for anyone who's like, can do the online Myers-Briggs personality test.
Ooh, what are you?
So great. I'm a ENPF.
Are you ENFP?
Yeah.
That's me too.
Hey,
We're the same.
samesies.
Yeah, and I think that is so accurate.
Yeah.
Like I mean, say what you will about personality quizzes, but I do truly think that that's an accurate one. And I've redone it at multiple stages of my life, and I've always gotten the ENFP.
Yeah, and I think one of my best friend is also, and for the first time, we've spent so much time together. We've been traveling together. We've been living together and working together. And like, I'm exhausted. I can't be around her sometimes now. It's just like too much. I realized, okay, like my wife is like this opposite personality type that just works so well together. Yeah, I just don't even know if I'll ever end up dating someone of my personality type. Like people, like this is what all my friends have always pictured me like being with someone kind of like me. And then I realized, no, you need someone. I just need someone like totally different to ground me, to teach me.
Yes.
Like I have enough energy. Like the two of us in a conversation together, and then you bring in one more personality type like us, or like I'm talking to somebody and then you join. It's like
if
okay,
we had another ENFP in here, it'd be chaos.
We're not like no one's winning. When there's two of us, like okay, we're just taking turns. We're actually having a great conversation. But you add more into it, like someone's gonna feel like they're just losing in the conversation. I'm like okay, just you take over then.
That's true. Like I have my best friend is. She has the same, this is weird, almost identical birth charts and personality types, but she's the introverted version of me.
Yeah.
So she just does things a little more introvertedly, and it oddly makes a perfect match of friendship because we get along enough, but she does actually tone me down and calm me down when I need it. Mm-hmm. And I think that is so, like, that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
But I'm also open to it all. Like I've been with people who are just like me, and it's been intense and amazing. And I do also appreciate the maybe not the total opposite, but again, like a more introverted version of the ENFP, which I guess would be an INFP.
Mm-hmm. So currently the people that I've continued to see and I'm talking to, there's 3. One of them is much closer to my personality type and a bit creative. And I don't even know how to classify anyone's personality that's not mine. But the other 2 are just, totally different as well. And so it's just like such nice contrast to just have these different personalities and different energies and just learn so much from everyone and get so much from everyone's different perspectives.
Yeah.
And have totally different conversations and have new ideas with everybody.
So cool.
And forget what I told somebody. I was like, remember we were talking about this? It's like, no, it wasn't me. Which is fine because everyone does that.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's a wild ride.
It's cool. So,
do you tend to go for other entrepreneurs? Or do you find that that's like the lifestyle thing? Because the lifestyle of an entrepreneur is pretty all over the place. And so it's interesting to me when I see couples where there's an entrepreneur and then there's like someone who has like a very standard 9-to-5 stable job. Like it's interesting. That's just interesting to me.
Yeah. When I was kind of ended with Emma, she's like, this is great. You should be dating like someone doing something very similar. She is a zoological veterinarian, and she's like getting her PhD, and she already has a doctor, and she's like doing something very scientific and cerebral, and it's like really great, but it's so different from what I'm doing, which is much more independent and creative, and it's around real estate and design and all kinds of different stuff. And she's like, you should be like dating someone in your field who can like talk to you about your business and help with that. And I'm like, I do not want to be dating someone that I'm like talking about business with, that we're like also like have the same work. And that works for a lot of people to like have that to relate to, but I just want there to be other stuff. I want something totally different. So I definitely like dating entrepreneurs, but an entrepreneurial musician, someone creative, someone
you can be entrepreneurial.
Who's doing something just totally different.
Creative, I think, would be important. I would assume for you, someone who has or at least an appreciation for creativity.
Yeah.
They would have to have that aspect.
Yeah.
It's interesting. My birth chart, my Venus planet, and I don't know if you believe in astrology at all, but is my Venus, which is the love, is in the I don't remember which number it is, but the house that it's in is the career and work house. Meaning I am more romantically drawn to people who are doing similar things. Which I would agree.
Cool. You dating any other podcast hosts?
I mean, no. But I mean, I think that would be really fun. Like my ideal relationship is the idea of having a space, like a big creative space in an apartment where we work on our own shit. But work on it together.
Yeah.
But work on our own shit. So not work together.
Yeah.
But kind of together but apart.
I think what ended up working out was I was a shift worker. I was a firefighter. And then so I'd be home and she'd go to work, and like we'd be at work at different times, and we'd like a lot of time be at home at night together, but also I'd sleep at the firehouse sometimes. And so our whole relationship, and then our travel, and she would travel, our whole relationship, like we're never just consistently together. It's like we go to work Monday to Friday, we're home every night together, or like we're home working together every day. I think we just had a lot of forced space, and so always wanted to see each other, always wanted to be together, but then just had space. And then like when we were working on our own things at home, it was different. So that I think worked out really well for me, and I don't know for her. I think, you know, her next partner, her new partner, is much more related field, and you know, if they're working the same hours and always home together, I think that will work for her, and that probably could work for me, but that's just really what worked for us. And I realized from like working with a close friend and living with her too that it can get to be a lot. You just
That's actually a really good point as well, is the idea of separation, because I think that that's so important. And that's why it's important to have space outside of your home, like a studio, to do creative things. Like my studio's in my living room right now, and that's interesting. Like if I were to take a guy home, I'd be like, this is what you're getting if you come hang out here. It's podcast world all the time, because you know, sometimes I'm recording, you know, twice a week. I don't want to tear all this down and put it back up. Like I just kind of leave it up. But it is interesting dating, because how old are you?
31.
Right. So I'm 32. So it's interesting dating at this age where you kind of have a little bit of a life. Like you have, like, this is what it is. You can roll with it or not. Whereas in your 20s, you're kind of evolving.
I'll change for you. I'm
change.
changing anyway.
I'll be a chameleon.
What should I be? I don't know. I'll be
a connection chameleon.
You're doing podcasts. I want to do podcasts. Let's move in together. I'll be your co-host.
Yeah,
totally.
I think it would be awkward to date to like be co-host but be dating. That might be weird.
Yeah. What's the thing? Turn Me On podcast.
That's true. That's true. And he's also poly. You should go on Turn Me On. You'd be perfect for it.
Reach out. Actually, girl I went on a date with who's monogamous. And I kind of told her what I was up to. She is being like commuting and binging Turn Me On podcasts. So, I think she's just become so much more open to the concept, where she's like, that's never something I have ever considered or think I'd want in my relationship. But she's just very open-minded, and
it's incredibly fascinating.
It's cool.
I'm fascinated. Like, it's not, I know that it's not for me, but I'm fascinated by it. And I respect it as long as it's done, like we talked about, with open communication and honesty, and no one's being led on. That's the number one thing. No one should be led on. That's just how I feel. It's the general rule.
No one's giving any rules, which is great. I feel like every relationship different. From the way I communicate with people, I just don't think rules make sense, because there's a huge population that likes to break rules, and no one likes to be told what to do. It's really great when you don't tell somebody what to do or don't try to change somebody. You appreciate and love them for who they are, but you let them know what you like, what you love, what you want, what hurts you, what you don't like. This is just me. I have no idea what anyone else is thinking. You never can. But I like it when my partner spends Wednesdays with me. I like it when my partner doesn't talk about any of their other partners. I like it when they always use a condom and are safe. I like it when they tell me that they love me, or when they come see me when they haven't in a week. And you can communicate these kinds of things, versus like, I don't want you spending so much time with this person. I don't like it that you're doing this. I don't.
There's
like,
negativity.
Don't do this. Like, you can't. I feel like realistically, you can't control someone. You can with fear and threats and whatever else, but realistically, you can. Everyone's like their own free person. So if you communicate what you want and they want to make you happy and respect you, then usually that'll work.
Ooh, question for you though.
Yeah.
Do you know about love languages?
Not too much.
Really? No. Okay. So, do you know anything about? Have you ever heard of love languages?
I've heard it's a thing.
It's I'll just tell the audience what it is. So, it's how you express love and how you want to receive love, I believe is. So, the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, gifts, like
Yeah.
physical gifts, acts of service, quality time, physical touch. Oh, physical touch is the last one. So those are the 5. And I've realized that I feel like I'm a mixed bag of all of them, except for gifts. I don't know about gifts. Like, I don't really care that much about gifts. Because to me, I'm like, well, you could say something nice to me, and that would be my gift. Do you, like, in me reading those, do you happen to know which one you would be?
Okay, say them one more time.
So words of
I know that,
affirmation.
I'm sure.
Words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, quality time, and physical touch.
Oh. Definitely not gifts. Oh my gosh. I'd say quality time.
Yeah, I think that's a big one.
Physical
Big
touch.
one
Physical
for me
touch is
too.
a big one for me too.
Physical touch is a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, skin hunger, man. That's a fucking thing. Don't I know it?
Like I have that with my friends. I'm like definitely affectionate with my friends.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
Are you like a huggy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't like the hug, right?
I don't mind hugs.
You're afraid of hugs.
I don't instantly go to them.
Yeah.
But like I will take them if they are given to me.
You're a receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You won't
with
cringe.
hugs. I won't go there immediately unless I'm drunk.
Yeah. Drunk hugger. Gotcha.
If I'm drunk, I'll be like, Sid, come
So
here.
once a week when you record.
It happens.
Yeah.
We're at an hour 40 though, so we will wrap. But I would like you to let the listeners know where they can find you and what they should keep an eye on in terms of on the social media with Sid.
I mean, you can find me pretty quick on Tinder if you swipe through for a while. Yeah, swipe right. I guess if we don't match, that sucks. If you want to be pushy, you can find me.
They listened to this whole episode, so now they have a whole understanding.
Oh my gosh. What are we going to talk about on our first date?
Yeah, that's a good... I mean, that's actually a random question I have for you is it weird? Because you are now a podcast host.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever go on dates and have they listened and been like, I know a lot about you already?
Yeah, I've definitely met people
It's
through
bizarre.
business and dates and stuff. If you've listened to podcasts, they don't usually tell me right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing. As far as like hosting goes, brand new view that I'm hosting, you're not going to really get too much about me, but like there's a whole bunch
That's
of
true.
podcasts I've been a guest on.
Yes, you've
that you
been
can listen
hopping
to.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Hop around to those pods.
Yeah, so I'm actually starting to record a new concept. It's a limited series documentary podcast. Doesn't have a name. I'm just gonna record for like a year. I started already recording with my wife and her family and her new partner and my first date and my other dates and my
Really?
partner. So I'm kind of recording with everyone in my life who I am intimate with, following this journey and not coming out as a place from someone who is, very experienced, that can teach people, but someone who really wants to know about relationships, want to learn about polyamory, wants to learn about monogamy, wants to
that's
learn about love.
fascinating.
And I'm asking people all these questions I want to know the answer to. I'm not doing it like a weekly podcast, but compiling a year worth of my life and curating it into a story.
That is so interesting.
And I'm really into, I've always just had friends who are musicians, and, I'm starting to go on dates with musicians, so it'll be very musical, which is great. There'll be music all throughout. And
you're getting sound bites from your different partners?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Definitely. And so instead of it being, there'll potentially be 2-hour interviews, but we'll only use kind of clips and create a story.
And you can backlog that up and kind of pick away at it and then just release them out into the world.
Yeah, I think it might just be like one season, released all at once, binge it.
Yeah, binge it.
It'll be a story. You have to listen to the whole season.
Sid, that's so cool.
Yeah, this is like my first, I feel, real unique creative project that I needed. I wanted to be a podcast host for a while, and I'm really excited co-hosting Brand New View with Mark. We're interviewing entrepreneurs, blah, blah, blah. But we both know, like, it's a concept that's been done thousands of times.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's tough to be original with podcasts, but that's also okay. It's kind of like with business, like it's okay that you have competition. Like it's okay that it's kind of a good thing that there's competition because you know that it worked. It worked with one of them or a couple of them, so maybe it will work with yours.
Yeah.
So that's so fascinating. So you guys need to also listen to Brand New View because it's absolutely fantastic.
Check it out.
Go subscribe.
Yeah. Listen, there's some good apps. We have some cool people on. Eventually you'll listen to the relationship podcast. So that's something that I do talk to my dates eventually. I'm doing podcasts and I'm starting to document my life, but I don't invite my dates onto it because I don't want it to affect the relationship. I feel like everyone I've talked to does want to be on it, whether I'm dating them or not. Like, people really want to be on that, and I don't want to build a form of connection around them wanting to be a part of that.
That's
And
interesting.
I also don't want to pursue a relationship just to have someone on because I know it'd be good for the show. So trying to navigate this and have it be something that's exciting and fun, which it fucking is. Because you can have someone in the studio and ask them questions like, was I really desperate or needy when I did this? Did I give you that orgasm or was that fake? Like, you'd ask people questions that you'd be like too embarrassed to say in real life.
So you should. I have a podcast recommendation for you. Now, I know podcast hosts probably are overwhelmed with podcasts, but for you specifically, you should check out the Man Whore podcast. It's an edgy name, I know, but Billy Procida, he's a comedian in New York. He is poly. He has women on that he is hooked up with.
Nice.
So he started doing this. Primarily, it was with past partners, past girlfriends, and they do just that. They talk about what went wrong, what went right, what did I do, how did I fuck up. But then he also has like a lot of like interesting guests on, like related to sex. You would love it. He did oral sex auditions once, where So he had a what was it? Him or did he find someone? He found a female friend that was like, guys just weren't going down on her. So he's like, okay, with your permission, and it was with her permission, I'm going to arrange 5 guys to come in and go down on you, and then we'll talk about it after. And that was the episode.
Wow.
So he would do an interview with them before they went in the room, being like, so how do you think your oral game is? What do you think? And like a lot of guys were like, oh yeah, I'm so good at it. And then it would turn out that they were not. It was all like, they all wanted to do it. But he does things like, he's very edgy with what he does. Yeah. But he's been doing it for like 4 years now. Yeah. I would highly recommend you check that out just to see how he does it.
I've been searching for someone that's doing something similar, so it sounds like he already has my concept. I'm not even going to do mine anymore.
No, I wouldn't say that it's documentary style. Actually, it's more like this.
That was the original concept I went on dates with a couple entrepreneurs. I was like, oh, I should bring them on Brand New View. And my producer was like, no, that's its own podcast. Like, if you're going to be bringing your dates on anyway, like, create a show about them. Like, exactly. Oh shit, because I'm very transparent. I can like be open about that. So I thought I'd start bringing them on and like doing that kind of thing. And as soon as I started bringing people in the studio, I was like, oh no, this is something more. Yeah,
and it's cool that that's the good thing about podcasts. You can find little pockets. Like, I'm doing a dating podcast. Soonish.
Yeah.
Where
gonna kiss some dudes.
And that's also kind of interesting that you mentioned about like the dating and not dating for the content, which is kind of exactly what I'm gonna be doing with this podcast. I'm gamifying my dating life. But you'll hear all about that in the intro to this episode. I'll break it down what that podcast is and why we have a goal of kissing 5 dudes.
5 or not 50?
5's more realistic for me, because the idea is that we want to meet new people and get out of our old habits, with our comfort zones. Right. So I'm very I have a fuck buddy who I'm very happy with. He's a great kisser. He's great at many things, but I'm looking to get out there.
Okay.
And this is gonna motivate me to do it. So each week we talk about: did we go on dates? Did we meet anyone? Are we talking to anyone? Cool. Did we get kissed?
It must be the 2 of you.
Me and Shannon. My friend Shannon.
I can go kiss 5 dudes tonight.
Well, that's the thing. So, and that's interesting. Like, I'm not going to just like go up to someone and be like, can you kiss me? Because I need to kiss 5. Like, we want foot popping, real,
ooh, yeah,
organic, and natural kisses.
Juices flowing.
Yes. Yeah. And so I will not be telling them about this dating podcast, although it's going to be hard for me to keep it off my personal social media. But
do you think you'll bring them on the show?
I don't know. We'll see. We're kind of just committing to 1 season for the summer. Yeah. And then we're going to see if people enjoy it. Because if they enjoy it.
You're a monogamous person. What if that first or second kiss is someone you want to keep seeing?
That's something I've thought about. Yeah.
Or you just don't pursue it.
I don't know.
So that you can kiss more people.
But it's also not limited to Tinder. So the whole point is that I need to start cultivating connections, kind of like what you're doing. Like if I feel like I have a connection with a friend or someone I know in real life, like I'll just tap into that and be like, do you want to go on a date?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of about being ballsy and just being like, fuck it. Like what's there to lose? Nothing.
Nothing.
And I know with me, like a gym membership, I'm more motivated to do it if I know that there's like a challenge.
Yeah, like not wasting your money.
Exactly. Yeah. If I'm paying for a gym membership, I'm more likely to go to the gym.
Totally.
So we both got multiple pods on the go. It's
yeah.
very exciting.
I have more in the works.
So maybe you'll be back on to promote the new.
Yeah, in a year. It's actually going to be like thousands of hours of footage edited down to like 10 hours. It's going to be like a story.
That's insane.
If it's done right. Yeah, with
that's so
music
crazy.
throughout and everything like interlace and just like a flow and a story. I don't know. I've never written a script to like do something like this, but pretty pumped. Hard part is like I started recording, then like didn't see a couple people. I like took 2 weeks off already. I'm like, I'm not journaling my own personal story, which I think there has to be a narrative.
Yes.
Like it's not going to be like, I don't think you'll hear me interviewing the guests. It'll be like narrative, people talking, narrative.
Yeah, you should be recording like little audio diaries as well.
Fuck, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Mark, who's gonna potentially produce all of this, or
Shout out
me,
to
because I
Mark.
feel like it's kind of my story. I might need to be me. And Tinder, you're gonna want to sponsor us.
Oh, Tinder, get on it.
Yeah,
That'd be amazing.
Has to be Tinder. Met my wife on Tinder.
Hinge is a big podcast sponsor.
Yeah, it just.
You'll hear a lot of Hinge ads on.
I just haven't gone on a date with anyone on Hinge. I've gone on like 5 million dates from Tinder.
Make it happen. If anyone can make it happen, it's you.
Yeah. I met my wife on Hinge. I wouldn't lie though. That's the thing. Like it really just makes so much sense for Tinder because it's all Tinder success stories. But I don't even know if they need to advertise on podcasts anymore.
Right. Probably not. But yeah, we're gonna wrap her up. Thanks so much for coming on.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me.
Do you want to plug your other businesses as well for the people that check out?
Yeah. You guys.
We didn't talk much business tonight.
You guys into real estate investing, you have a place. I have an Airbnb management company. You just do it all. You give us your place, we put it on Airbnb. We have like 50 on the go. Amazing. It's like a hotel. We got hotels all over the city. Halifax.
Legit.
Also manage online. Host often. I love to host. I do it often. Hostoften.com.
On Instagram as well.
At Host Often. Also have a cleaning company in Halifax, Soapy Cleaning. Get soapy.ca or soapycleaning.ca if you want to stay somewhere super funky in the city. I've been setting up themed units. Check out retrobnb.com. I'm also doing a bunch of stuff with creative people where I'm offering spaces up for free, where you can do photo shoots and stuff within our units when they're empty, and also starting to actually coordinate with musicians to have shows happen in really funky spaces in the city. So it's collaboften.com. Really doesn't matter how you find me, just send an email.
Sid's all
Won't
over
go
the
directly
place.
to me, but I'm not giving out my personal email. I used to do that, but oh my gosh. You just get a lot. It gets overwhelming. You have a bit of a personal life.
I don't know how you do it. You're really, truly, you're doing so much, but you're killing it. And I thank you so much for coming on and talking about some intimate shit here tonight.
Yeah.
A good poly episode. I don't think I've had a specific one where it was like, let's focus on polyamory.
We weren't trying to. You asked me where I'm from. I'm like, I'm from polyamory.
It doesn't matter where I'm from. Thanks so much, Sid.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Follow Intoxicated, please, on social media, Facebook and Instagram, Intoxicated Podcast, and on Twitter at @in_toxicated, because we don't have that other handle because someone else has it. It's very unfortunate. But make sure you subscribe to both of our podcasts.
Oh, yeah. Subscribe. Brand new view. Also, find me
Rate and
personally.
review.
Backyard Horse on Instagram.
Yes, Backyard Horse.
You can, that's an open profile. Find me on Instagram.
I will link below to all of Sid's things.
If you want to go on a date, don't message me through Instagram. I'm definitely going to assume that's a sex worker. If you want to ask me out, like do it roundabout. Pretend like you're an Airbnb client. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Be a little sneaky.
Yeah, I'm out at people on Tinder. I'm like meeting people naturally now.
I like that.
Like a real thing. I'm single for the first
That's
time
what
in
I'm
5
trying
years.
to do,
So
too.
I'm really meeting people. I'm making a lot of friends. If you like, I love going on dates because I just want to make friends too, and I feel like a lot of that will just end up being friends. So if you just want to hang out and like grab a beer, yeah, reach out. to just one of the things that
One of the
find
many
me.
things.
Use your creativity, figure out a way.
Send him a
Reach
cake.
out to me. Google my name.
Oh man, this was great though. But thanks so much. You get to end the episode with a very special bell ring.
Dang.
You're gonna dig it.